Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Time to talk a little PBR. No, not half school ribbon. Get it out of your head. It's too early for that. No, it's time to talk pro bull riding. PBR Bakersfield is headed right here to Bakersfield, California next weekend for the Pendleton Whiskey Velocity Tour. And to talk about that and much, much more is our friend Matt West of the PBR, of PBR. Sir, good morning. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know that we're friends right now, okay? Because you guys, I gotta pretend to be Sean Hockley for a minute. And I'm throwing a penalty flag right out of the gate. Because you guys lead into me talking about the toughest athletes in the world with Cardi B references.
Look, it's more of a Stephon Diggs reference.
Are you kidding me?
It's a Stephon Diggs reference. I'm sorry. We just had to bring up the off the field stuff. You know, it's not the setting up of you guys. I promise.
Hey, but I love it because sometimes there's a relationship. Obviously, Stephon and Cardi B, that didn't work. Stephon, Josh Allen, maybe that works a little bit better. I tell you, like the best bull riders in the world in Bakersfield, that's a relationship that has worked well for a long time. And there's no question on what team we need to be on because, our team, the PBR, is super excited to come back to Bakersfield.
We're always excited to have you guys. It's one of the best events that come to this town every single year. I love going. And I just want to start this out because I know there's a lot of people that listen to us that really don't know how the standings work or how many leagues and standings you guys actually have because there are teams in PBR. There's also individual and stuff like that. So what are people going to be seeing next Saturday at the Velocity Tour?
So look, at the core of bull riding, it is an individual sport, man versus beast, okay? We have two seasons. One is individual. The other is a brand new league that we created going into its fifth year here later on this year called PBR Teams. Forget about that right now because this is one man versus one beast at the core of the sport. Now, when you break that down, there's three different tiers of competition. There's what we call the Unleash the Beast series, which is the top 35 guys in the world. They're on television every single weekend. And then right behind that is what's called the Pendleton Whiskey Velocity Tour. It's essentially AAA baseball.
Okay.
And I know that a lot of people don't like that comparison, but that's it. It's AAA baseball because it's the guys that have just come from a major league roster and are trying to work their way back through injury or trying to work their way back into the top 35, or it's kids that are on the rise, that are climbing, that are almost to that level. And that's what we're going to be seeing. We're going to see, there's a former Rookie of the Year and a World Finals qualifier named Eli Bassbinder that's going to be competing there, a guy that has shined on the biggest stage in the sport. He's won rounds at the PBR World Finals in his rookie season. He did it with broken ribs. He's actually going to be there. He's trying to make that climb back. He's married. He's got kids at home. So he's kind of slowed down a little bit, but he's also now he's engaged and he's looking to get back to the big leagues. And that's why you're going to see, to me, I love spring training baseball because you're watching guys fight to get to that next level, earn their spot on a roster, if you will. That's essentially what we're bringing to Bakersfield. We're bringing guys that are hungry, that are going to give it absolutely everything they've got in order to get to that top level. So you're looking at superstars, guys like Mason Taylor, who have been to the World Finals 6-7 times, who are quote-unquote superstars in our industry. So if you think you're going out to just, catch a bunch of guys that you've never seen or heard of before, you're wrong. This is a top-notch spectacle. And if you've never seen bull riding, my goodness, I mean,
you're missing out. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's like a Cardi B concert. You don't know what to expect until you get in your seat see it for yourself.
Well,
there's nothing in the world like it.
Trust me, if you're living in Bakersfield and you've been here, you've been to bull riding. But I will say, what can they expect when the Velocity Tour comes to Bakersfield? And not only that, but, how important are these events for the riders? And, you mentioned some of the big names, but how big are these events for, not the big names, but the ones that are just coming up?
Look, there's a lot of California guys that are going to be competing there. And for guys that, it's hard. It's hard to get from the West Coast to the East Coast sometimes and be able to get back in time. This is a home field advantage for a lot of these California guys. There's a guy from Pismo Beach named Aaron Williams who's made it to the big show, who has came home. He's back in California. He's raising babies. But this is a long-haired outlaw with a Yosemite Sam mustache that like fits the bill. But he surfs like he's a surfer. He just doesn't look like it. But he is a guy that has represented the state of California. So if you're within driving distance of Bakersfield, if for nothing else, to go watch the energy that this guy alone brings to an event and represents his home state with pride. And I pull for guys like that, right? Because this is, for a lot of guys, this is their biggest opportunity to get to the biggest stage in our sport. It's like essentially, because every time you win one of these events, you automatically get an invite to our premier tour. So that's essentially like a wild card game in baseball. Like, okay, you got one shot to go in there, and if you can win this game, you essentially make the playoffs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the human outlaws, but let's talk about the real outlaws.
Absolutely.
What about these bulls? Where do you guys get these bulls? And I mean, obviously they're in the name.
They're bred for power, baby.
Right?
Yeah, look, we boast that we have the best bull riders in the world competing at this level because I'll use baseball as a reference, because you can't say you're the best hitter in Major League Baseball unless you're going against the best pitchers in the game, right? You've got to go against the all-star level guys. We boast about that because we do bring in the best bulls in the world. No matter where we're at in the United States, we have bulls at our disposal that are worthy of that title. Good news about California is right up and down that West Coast, there's a lot of California bulls. There's bulls that are up in Washington and Oregon that'll be making their way down, so we can go out and we can find the best opportunities for these guys to win at this level, because ultimately we are not a sport without these animal athletes. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of misconceptions around the world about how these animal athletes are treated, but nothing we do in our lives happened without these animal athletes. And so we take the utmost pride in their health and well-being and making sure that they are truly the most incredible athletes in sports. And I talk about our guys being tough, but the athleticism of these animals at 15 to 1,800 pounds, the muscles, everything about what they do. I've been doing this my whole life. I've been around it my whole life, and I'm still amazed at how athletic these guys are and how lucky we are to have these bulls as part of our sport.
So do you guys have ranches that you work with that you specifically tell them like, hey, I know you got one that's on the way up, or do you just kind of send scouts out there to find these bulls? How do you guys find them?
So what's crazy about it is we have a very small delegation of people. And when I say very small, there's essentially one guy who is our livestock director.
Oh, wow.
And he will get hundreds of videos a day.
Really?
And trust me when I say a day, because I've sat with him and tried to have conversations, and his phone just constantly blows up. And there's bull owners from all over the country, that will send him videos of bulls to say, hey, this was last weekend. This is what this bull's been doing at the ranch. This is what this bull's been doing at these other events. And he essentially is the gatekeeper to determine whether or not these bulls are good enough to go to the major leagues. Now here, it's going to be very similar to what we talk about in terms of the riders, because you'll see some bulls getting their chance to become superstars. And I think that most people will remember a bull called Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker was a world famous bull for us. He was, on Sports Illustrated's The Body issue. He was in USA Today. He was all over the place. But essentially, he started his career in places like Bakersfield. He is a bull that was raised in California. So that's what I love about this, is because you're looking at the next generation of the biggest names in our sport.
Absolutely.
And you get to do it at a premier level event like Bakersfield, and you get to be right there in the intimate setting, and you get to know these guys and these animals essentially before the rest of the world. I love that.
I love that too. And Bakersfield is one of those places I feel that we get that more than anybody. Obviously, we have our AHL affiliate with the Condors. We've had affiliate baseball teams here for many years. And obviously you guys coming here is another step into that. Now we know obviously what we're looking for in terms of the riders. Can you hold on for as long as long as humanly possible? But when your livestock guy is looking at these bulls, what are the tells that he could see that are making him feel like, oh, this could be a good one. This is one that we need to pull in here.
It's kind of like a coach when he brings in kids for like a football practice.
Uh-huh.
Not everything about their technique is perfect, but you can tell the ones that have heart and the ones that really want to do what they need to do. They're looking for kick. They're looking for a bull that jumps out of there and kicks as hard as he can. They're looking for a bull that'll turn back either direction and kind of spin, change the momentum. But at the core of everything, when they're young, these bulls will start bucking at, a year or 2 years old. And they'll buck with a mechanical dummy on their back. And you really start to learn, okay, does this bull have the heart? Does he want to do this as much as he needs that want to be able to make it to the next level? And so, I equate our bull owners to coaches or general managers. They've got to look at all of that. Excuse me. But they've also got to walk through, not just on game day, but every day of the off season as well. They will walk through and they'll look at these bulls and they'll just make sure that they're sound. They'll make sure that they're healthy. They'll make sure that nothing's limping or anything like that, because again, at the core of what we do, that's the number one priority, is the health and well-being of the animals. So yeah, they're looking for all of that, but they're also looking to see, okay, is this bull, does he have the heart to handle the road? Does he have the structure to be able to handle, going from place to place and do these things? So there's a lot. I'd love to say, well, hey, a guy's got to be able to tackle in the open field, but it's not that simple. I mean, just like any other sport, you got to look for the total package, but it all starts no different than anything else with how much heart does that athlete have.
That's incredible.
100%. I mean, me and my older brother, we grew up watching. Every year we'd go out and watch the PBR, and I mean, we're excited. We used to make our little side bets before it started. I've got these 5 guys, he's got 5 guys, and we'd have fun with it. But PBR, they're bringing one of the toughest sports on dirt coming back to Bakersfield at the Dignity Health Arena, March 14th at 7 p.m. So for fans listening who wants to go out there and experience the PBR Velocity Tour, what's the best place they can get their tickets?
And look, I'll make it really simple for everybody. If you go to PBR.com, all you got to do is click the links and you can find Bakersfield. I know you'll be able to go up to AXS.com as well. You can get them at the box office, but personally, I would jump on AXS.com or PBR.com and secure those things right now.
Yeah, before they sell out.
Yeah, Bakersfield, it's got a reputation.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't do it quickly, you're gonna be left outside. So.
And you do not want to be left outside for this one.
Nope.
I know we've talked extensively about the bulls. I have one more question when it comes to the riders, much like what we were talking about with the bulls. These are the up and coming guys, these are the guys that really want to become one of the top 35. How do they get started? I mean, there's a avenue for a lot of other sports, obviously, with the draft, but not so much with PBR. So if there's somebody listening right now that wants to get into pro bull riding, how can they do that?
Look, I'm going to send you again to PBR.com, and you can obviously email into that website and ask questions. We do have a rider development system, but I also encourage people to ask around, because even in California, there are a lot of bull owners that are helping kids get started. This is a thing that is typically generational. And so guys that have ridden bulls in the past or been involved in Western sports always have, whether it's their kids or their neighbors' kids or their buddies' kids, teaching them at the level of, like, at 3, 4, 5 years old, these kids are getting on sheep. And getting acclimated to, how fast-paced this thing can be. But then they're getting on calves and steers and junior bulls and working their way up. No different than Little League soccer or Little League baseball, T-ball, working their way up through the sport's different levels of competition. But I would encourage anybody to jump onto the website, PBR.com, or start Googling bull riding schools, because they are all over the place. And I know there's a bunch of them in California as well. So whatever you can do to start getting towards that sport safely, make sure you do your due diligence and find a reputable coach, because they're out there.
Get your tickets while you can. Before I let you go, what's your favorite Cardi B song?
You know what? All of them. Yeah. Like,
that's
I
a good
like them
answer.
all evenly.
That's a good
I really
answer.
do.
Good answer.
That's a very good answer.
My wife made me watch a 6-hour docuseries of Taylor Swift.
Oh, no.
And then a
no.
3-hour concert of Taylor Swift. So I'm leaning more towards the Swiftie than the Cardi B
Smart.
music lately, and it's my wife's fault.
You know what? That is a smart move as well, my friend. That is awesome. One more question for you before we let you go. Obviously, we've talked about baseball a couple times since you've been on this show. Are you a baseball fan? What team do you usually follow?
I'm a baseball fan. I grew up listening to Jack Buck call the St. Louis Cardinals games with my great-grandpa. I grew up. Now I love the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA.
Love that.
And the only pro football team I really have to cheer for is probably the highest payroll, and that's the Oklahoma Sooners in the NCAA.
Yep.
So those are my pro teams, quote
Love
unquote.
that. Quick sidebar questions for you then. How do you
man.
feel about Jason Witten's son joining your Sooners? We talked about that the other day.
I love it. Look, that program, and look, everybody's going to have their conversations. That program has such a reputation of being championship successful, not just winning seasons. So when Venables comes in, if he doesn't win a national title right away, and I'm guilty of it too, our fan base immediately goes, he's not the guy. But I love what Coach Venables has done there. I love the moves that he's making. And I hate the transfer portal. Just for the record, we've lost some really good quarterbacks in that, but we've also gained some really good players. And at the end of the day, you find people that want to be a part of that program, that want to, eat, sleep, breathe, live, and die for that Crimson and Cream. And we're going to get those guys. And look, I'm calling it right now, national title. The Sooners are going to take it this next season.
Wow, next season. Okay, I'll give you guys that. I think within the next 2-3 years, for sure.
Every year, and I need to make a bold statement to erase that Taylor Swift comment I made a minute ago.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a USC fan. So first and foremost, I apologize for some of those transferees.
We're not friends.
I apologize for that. And then real quick before we let you go, did you hear about this $29 all-you-can-eat thing that the Cardinals are doing? And how do you feel about that? Is that going to pull you over to their ballpark here pretty soon?
This is breaking news to me. I go to Cardinals games every chance I can anyways, but now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, apparently they're going to start doing an all-you-can-eat Coke option for Coca-Cola products, nachos, hot dogs, all that type of stuff for $30 a pop.
Yeah, I might buy season tickets. At that, let's just go ahead and
if you buy season
guys.
tickets, they better give that package to you for free at this point.
So, I mean, I'm in. I'm an eater. I'm a baseball fan, and I'm a guy that loves to eat. So
you and me both, my friend. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. West. We appreciate you so much, and we'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
Guys, thanks so much for letting us jump on and talk about what I believe are the toughest athletes in the world. I appreciate
100%.
You guys.
100%. Again, PBR Bakersfield next weekend, next Saturday. Go get your tickets right now on AXS.com or go to PBR.com for all information on if you want to become a writer or if you just want to get tickets for the next event. So, Mr. West, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Let's take a break real quick. We'll get to some other stories on the other side. We have yet to talk about this, but we lost Lou Holtz yesterday. So we'll talk about that very briefly. Plus, Chauncey Billups received his trial date as well. Looks like they'll be facing the brunt of the punishment for this whole poker game situation. We'll get into all of that on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk.